Hello students, you are welcome in today's class. Today we are going to discuss about Science and Technology of grade 10, Unit 9, Heat, in which today we will explain or we will discuss about anomalous expansion of water. Anomalous expansion, don't say anomalous, anomalous, okay? Sometimes students pronounce anomalous, no, okay. That is peculiar type of expansion of water. Before it, we have discussed about thermal energy, heat and temperature and their effect on the volume of bodies. Or you can say thermal expansion. Expansion of bodies by heat. Yes, it is also expansion, but it is what? Anomalous expansion. Okay, before starting today's lesson, one thing as usual, we are going to think about one event and one selection I am going to give you. Here are two bottles, A and B. Can you find the difference? Yes, this one is completely filled and this one has gap. Yes. So, my question is that which bottle, A or B, will you prefer to place in a refrigerator to deep freeze? Why? Deep freeze means to change into ice. Related with earlier relation also. Yes. So, here this relation is in today's lesson also, yeah. So, why will you select B1? Because there is gap and after freezing the water expands. Unlike other substances, the water expands. So, that is the property about which we are going to discuss today. So, what is anomalous expansion of water? Yes. So, before studying about the relation of density and volume with temperature, just see what is anomalous expansion. Generally, when substances are heated, they expand. We have already found. Yes. And water shows different thermal expansion from other substances. That is, it contracts when it is heated from 0 degree Celsius to 4 degree Celsius. If you are taking a vessel which was kept in your refrigerator and that was filled with ice, just filled, completely filled, not overflown, or you can say extra is cut out, and if you leave it to cool, that means to warm, that means to melt, then you will find that the amount of water will be lesser than the amount of what? Ice. Yes, that also shows that its volume what? Decreases when heated from 0 degree Celsius up to certain temperature. Why? We will discuss. This property of water is called as anomalous expansion of water. Students, there is not only water that has anomalous expansion. There are some other substances also which have this property. So, for your knowledge, extra knowledge, that is, one is bismuth. Bismuth. Yes. Next one is silicon. Silicon. Next one is gallium. Next one is antimony. And last one is germanium. So, because they are not in our daily use, that's why we are not familiar with them, but we are familiar with water. There are many events which occurred related with, that means about anomalous expansion with water. So, they are also some substances: bismuth, silicon, gallium, antimony and germanium. Yes. So, here after that, in what way the anomalous expansion take place? For it, at first you understand the relation between temperature and volume of water. It is shown by this graph. In this graph, just study it. What do you find? Here at 0 degree Celsius, here is given volume. Yes, consider it is 1. Yeah, and after that, when it is heated, its volume is decreasing or increasing? Here it is being lesser, here lesser, and here is minimum volume. Yes, highly contracted. At which temperature? 4 degrees Celsius. Now, do you remember why we discussed about relative density at the temperature of 4 degrees Celsius. We compare relative density of a substance with water's density at 4 degrees Celsius because water has maximum density at that temperature. Water contracts maximum at that temperature. So, here we are discussing about volume. So, you can say only contraction. Yes. So, at 4 degrees Celsius, it contracts maximum. And after that only its volume increases. Yes. So, when water is heated, its volume decreases from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. Volume decreases. Beyond 4 degrees Celsius only the volume of the water increases. It is clear from that graph? Yes? Okay. Thus, water has a minimum volume at the temperature of 4 degrees Celsius. And you know what is the relation of volume with density? Do you remember this formula? Density or rho, you can use anything, equals mass by volume. Here I am saying R, density or rho, mass by volume. If volume is more, then density will be less. If volume is less, density will be more. They are what? Inversely proportional. They are what? Inversely proportional. If volume is more, density is less. If volume is less, density is more. What is happening here? Here volume is decreasing at 4 degrees Celsius. So, density will be maximum. That relation is shown into next graph. Study the graph. Yes, study the graph. What is given here? Here the water is heated from 0 degrees Celsius and density of the substance, density of water is increasing, and here it is at the peak at which temperature? 4 degrees Celsius, just opposite of earlier graph, and after that its density decreases. That means the body is expanding. Yes, so about which we have seen in last graph. So, here when water is heated, its density increases from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. Beyond 4 degrees Celsius only, the density of the water decreases due to increment in its volume. Because volume is increasing, that is why density is decreasing. Thus, water has maximum density at the temperature of 4 degrees Celsius. So, what is the essence of these two graphs? When water is heated, from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, the water contracts or its volume decreases, yes, and it causes increment in density. So, at 4 degrees Celsius, water has the minimum volume but maximum density, yes, and beyond 4 degrees Celsius only it expands. So, in between 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, water shows a peculiar type of expansion, a different type of expansion, that is what? Anomalous expansion of water. Is it clear? About cause we will discuss. So, now we are going to discuss about the cause of anomalous expansion of water. For that, once again we have to discuss about molecular adjustments. So, here water molecule, you are familiar with it. Water molecule is made of one oxygen atom and combined with two hydrogen atom. You know it very well. At normal temperature, the water molecules are held together in a liquid state because of the intermolecular attraction of the water molecule. Here, water molecules also attract each other. Water molecules are not still, they are moving around in the water. Yes, that is due to what? Intermolecular force, the force applied in between the molecules. Yes. So, here in a liquid state, the water molecules are constantly whizzing, moving around in the container and are constantly being rearranged at new place. Yes, they readjust. The attraction between the hydrogen atoms of one water, here this hydrogen atom, here you can understand, here is oxygen and here is hydrogen. Look, attraction between them. Not oxygen-oxygen attraction, oxygen-hydrogen attraction, oxygen-hydrogen attraction, hydrogen-oxygen attraction. Here also you can understand, that is hydrogen and bond is in between hydrogen and oxygen. That is not bond, better to say force is force, bond is formed by force. So here this force is shown by it, that the force is in between what? Hydrogen and oxygen. You know that bond is formed by that force. Yeah. So the attraction between the hydrogen atoms of one water molecule and the oxygen atom of another water molecule is also present here. Not only in between oxygen, hydrogen, but molecule to molecule are also, they attract each other. Meaning is that. Okay. On cooling water, when you cool water, the rate at which the molecules are whizzing around decreases as they lose energy. By heat, energy is gained, thermal energy increases, and when they are cooled, they lose their energy. Yes, that's why what happens? The rate of motion also decreases. Yes, the water molecules start squeezing, contracting together on further cooling, increasing their density. You know that if they contract, volume decreases, density increases, about which we have already discussed. At 4 degrees Celsius, the density reaches its maximum. And after this, the water molecules can squeeze no further. That is the limit of the squeezing. At 4 degrees Celsius only they can squeeze maximum, and after that they have to expand. Yes. So water freezing over into ice is held together not by the OO attraction, already we discussed that, but by the HO attraction. Yes, that diagram also will support you. Look here. Here, because here it is by the artist, here you have to understand that hydrogen bond with oxygen. At many places you will find, doesn't matter here, hydrogen attraction is also shown, but this ice stays is because of the attraction of what? Oxygen, hydrogen bond, and it makes gaps in between the molecules, more intermolecular space, that makes the body expanded. Yes, and if body is expanded, then volume is more. If volume is more, density is less. Yes, that's why ice is lighter than water. So the lattice arrangement of ice prevents the movement of water molecule. Now molecules do not move, that becomes solid and it becomes ice. Okay. So here melting ice is in this way, that is ice. Here it is clear that hydrogen oxygen molecule, hydrogen oxygen molecule. Melting ice is ice condition, solid condition, just melting. And here in water they separate from each other. Yes. Here the same thing I will give you to understand about that increment and decrement in volume by one very simple examples. Look here. Here, how many persons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And here the persons are occupying more space because they are farther from each other. And here they are very close to each other, like in water at 4 degrees Celsius. So, what is happening here? Here volume is less, in less space they are adjusted. Or you can imagine that you are standing with your friends and you are just taking out your hand, taking out your hand from pocket. Then how will you arrange? And if you are being tied by putting your hand in pocket, then what will happen? Yes, in the same way, you can imagine, you can compare the water molecules similar to the persons standing close together by keeping their hands in pocket, or in that condition very closely. And in ice, melting ice is shown, doesn't matter, but it is ice. So in that condition, the persons are not so tight, their hand is out of pocket at the sides, so they need each person needs more space, so whole the volume increases. How nice example to understand the solidification, that means the more and less volume of ice and water. Okay, so here we have compared it, compare the position of people in different groups with molecular arrangement of ice and water. Is it clear? Okay, students. Now, here is one example of anomalous expansion of water, which is very advantageous for the aquatic life. If you have experience of Himalayan region, then it is very common for you. But if you are not familiar with Himalayan ponds, then you have to study here because it is not in Tarai and in hilly region. It occurs only in Himalayan region. So, in Himalayan ponds, generally what happens when temperature falls below 0 degree Celsius, at that condition only surface water which is in contact of that temperature changes into ice. Only that water changes into ice. And because density of ice is lesser than water, so it does not sink. Very interesting, yes? It does not sink, it floats. It makes a layer at the surface and below it water is found. And here, for your better understanding, the temperature of water is also shown here. The maximum density of water is 4 degrees Celsius at the bottom, over it 3 degrees Celsius, over it 2 degrees Celsius, over it 1 degree Celsius. Water is shown. From outside, water is not seen. Person can run here, can play football there, doesn't matter. Yes, but in summer season what happens? That ice melts. You cannot go there. Yes, that happens in what? Glaciated lakes. Glaciated lakes, it happens. Okay, lakes at height which may form ice in winter season, they are glaciated lakes. Okay, in that condition, when the outer surface is blocked, does it affect on that means negatively on the life of the aquatic organisms? No, not more, because water has dissolved with oxygen. There are plants, slightly light is here obstructed for green plants. So, there are those plants adapted who can grow in less light also, who can make their food in less light also. Algae are found. So, they change carbon dioxide into oxygen. Oxygen is used by these animals. Food is available there. So, they are safe in that environment. So, it is because of what? Anomalous expansion of water. Yes. So, it is clear that is advantageous, one advantageous event. So, here because here due to anomalous expansion only surface water is frozen, not whole water of the pond. Okay. Now, next example, look here, what is it? Mountain? No, it is not mountain. It is glacier, iceberg. Okay, iceberg, the part which is seen above water is very less, about 9 times more than it is inside water. Very more relative to that seen part is inside water. So, if any ship passes through that, any boat passes through that, there may be accident. That should be noticed by the navies of the ship. Okay. So, there are some instruments which give the information of these glaciers, these icebergs in the way, and the ship takes different path. Yes. Here, why is it floating? Why is the iceberg floating? Very easy to answer, because its density is lesser than the density of water. That's why it is floating. Yes. Okay. So, that is another example, that floating iceberg, that is not from the bottom of the ocean, that is just floating, maximum part inside water and less part out. Next one, here what is shown? Here, but the heading shows that freezing patterns of water and ghee. Here is water in the glass and frozen region is white. The person is touching with finger, but inside it, or you can say down near the bottom, there is water. Have you seen in bottle kept in deep fridge? Deep fridge. Have you seen ever that the bottle, the water inside the bottle is frozen at upper surface, not at lower surface? It happens. That is due to same region, due to anomalous expansion, as water is heavier than the ice. That's why water is at bottom, ice is at surface. But if solidification takes place in ghee or in honey, In winter season, you can find very easily it. Winter season, honey is completely solidified. In summer season, in ghee is visible. But in winter season, you can see in honey, because partially it may be solidified. Yes. So, you can see in this bottle that honey and ghee are frozen from bottom and liquid is up. But in water, liquid is down and solid is up. Because here honey and ghee do not have anomalous expansion, they have normal expansion. But water has anomalous expansion. Yes. Now next one, you have this experience when you put cube of ice in water that floats. Yes, in summer we use such type of drinks. I'm not talking about another drink, just juices, yes, cold drinks, yes, fruit juices, or sarbat is used in Tarai. So in that ice cubes are used. So ice cubes are floating. You have seen when it rains with hail, then hail floats on water. You have seen? Yes, that is because its density is lesser than water. Yeah. Okay. Now, what do you see in this diagram? Outside snow, outside ice. So what may be inside the tap? Very dangerous condition. That's why in winter season, in Himalayan region, tap is left opened. Do you know it? If tap is not left opened, then if water freezes inside the tap, it may cause the bursting of tap, bursting of that pipe through which the water is coming, or it may destruct the system. That's why tap is left open, water is flows continuously, and when it frozen, stops. Yes, so that happens in what? Himalayan region. So here we found different types of events. Can you remember some more? Some more events which occur in our daily life? Many of them I have introduced you, and all of them are related with what? Anomalous expansion. So anomalous expansion may be advantageous and disadvantageous both. Anomalous expansion may be advantageous or disadvantageous both. Advantageous in what sense I told you? Yes, in the case of Himalayan lakes or glaciated lakes, where the layer of ice also does not affect on the living organisms inside it, does not affect on the aquatic life. Yes, and disadvantageous in what sense? Disadvantageous when you are placing completely filled water bottle in deep fridge, then what happens? It may burst. Yes, like that tap may burst. Yes, so that is disadvantage. Okay, so here after that we have to remind once, that means we have to discuss once that what things we studied today. Very less thing we have studied. We studied that what is anomalous expansion. In anomalous expansion, you found that generally when substances are heated, they expand. But water is when heated, it contracts instead of expansion up to a certain range of temperature. What was the temperature? Yes, that was 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. So when water is heated from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, it contracts. This is special type of contraction, okay? That is contraction, not only that, after 4 degrees Celsius, it expands. Expansion is there, but after 4 degrees Celsius. Generally, water is found at room temperature. Room temperature may be 15, 16 degrees Celsius. So we do not feel that water's density is increasing or water volume is decreasing. We do not find it because we do not heat that water at 0 degrees Celsius. But when we heat ice, when we melt ice, then we can experience this thing. Then we can experience that water is contracting, okay? Or when you are taking a vessel of water completely filled and making it ice, then it spills out by freezing. There we can find, oh, ice occupies more space. So that is due to what? Anomalous expansion. And what was about its cause? What did I tell you? About cause, we have discussed about its molecular pattern. When the water is in the form of liquid, at that condition it just had intermolecular forces and it is not in rest, it is in motion. In earlier lesson also I told you that there is no natural temperature at which the substances cease their motion. Yes, that is imaginary temperature. What is it? Minus 273 degrees Celsius. Already you were told. Yes. So, one thing happens that when the liquid is heated, then its energy decreases up to 4 degrees Celsius and it squeezes. And when maximum is squeezed, then what happens? Density is maximum. So that thing we have already finished. And which bond I told you is active here? Hydrogen oxygen bond. Hydrogen oxygen bond is that bond which makes ice what? Expanded. Yes. And oxygen hydrogen bond, if there is more force, then they are closer. If there is less force, they are farther. Only difference is that. Okay, students. Now, what have you understood? Just see by some questions. Here is first question. Which of following is anomalous expansion of water? Change in density of a substance by heat. Change in volume of a substance by heat. Change in temperature of a substance by heat. Or contraction of a substance by heat. Everything looks as correct, yes? So look here, is it or not? Change in density of a substance by heat. Does only water change its density by heat or other substances also? Others also, so it is not correct answer. Like that B is also okay for others, so it is also not correct. C is also very common. But D1, generally substances do not contract by heating, but water has. And this special property is what? Correct answer. In this way, you have to identify that which one is correct answer. Okay, next question. What causes anomalous expansion of water? Different bonding pattern in water and ice. Different heat absorption in water and ice. Different heat reflection in water and ice. Or different physical forms of water and ice. Physical forms are found in other substances also. At different temperature, they have different physical form. Yes. Here, different heat reflection. Does it affect on anomalous expansion? No. So, correct answer is, I think you have guessed, that is first one, different bonding pattern in water and ice. Water has different patterns of bonding and ice has different. That's why lattice formation occurs in the case of what? Ice. And in water, they move. Yes, in ice, they do not move, still remain at one place. Okay, students, now next question is, which of following is true about the property of water? Water cooled below 2 degrees Celsius decreases its volume. Does it? If you are cooling water at 2 degrees Celsius, below that, then what will happen? Volume will increase or decrease? That will increase, so it is not correct. Water heated above 2 degrees Celsius decreases its density. If water is at 2 degrees Celsius and you are heating, then what will happen? It will contract, volume will decrease, but density increase. Yes, water heated at 4 degrees Celsius has the least density. At 4 degrees Celsius, water is going to contract, then density increases, not the least, but it will be what? Maximum density. It is also not correct. So, correct answer is what? Water heated at 4 degrees Celsius has the least volume, that is maximum density. Okay. So, it needs little bit more thinking. Now, Next question is, which of following is true about water? HH bond in water molecules form intermolecular force. HO bond in water molecules form intermolecular force. OO bond in water molecules help to change it into ice. Or HS bond in water molecules helps to change it into ice. So during changing in ice, which bond? That is HO bond. Yes, many times we have repeated. HO bonds, that forms what? Intermolecular force, and it also helps to remain the substance in ice also. So that is correct one. Now here are some questions to which you have to copy. You have to write answer and to show your teacher. First one is define anomalous expansion of water. Yes. Next, write any two changes found in water when it is heated from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. So the two changes are, one is related with volume, another one is related with density. You can write very easily. Next one, how is anomalous expansion of water better for aquatic life? So by sketching the diagram, by showing the temperature of water at different layer, by sketching the diagram of fishes and grasses, water grasses, you have to explain it. Okay. Answer the questions based on the given graph related with water. So what graph is given here? Yes, you are familiar with this graph. What is it increasing? Not shown. That is, you have to find that what is increasing. Yes, probably it may be question. What does the diagram express? So when temperature increases, what increases? You have to find that. Next, what is the cause of happening it? So cause also you have already got in other questions. So you will write. Yes, next one, how is the property shown here different from others? So about anomalous expansion we will discuss here in short. So students, today we have discussed about anomalous expansion of water. I hope that you enjoyed the class and you understood very well what is anomalous expansion and what is the cause of expansion of anomalous expansion of water and what are its advantages and disadvantages and what are the events which occurred in our daily life, because many events you are familiar with. So that's all for today. Next time, with next topic I will be here. That's all. Namaste.